Deep-sea divers walk a fine line between safety and danger every time they dive into the abyss. But perhaps the ocean's challenges are worth it if, in return, they discover things we've never seen before. From a giant squid to a bottle almost as old as Canada, here are the strangest things found by deep-sea divers. Number 1. Diver Yosuke Tanaka and his wife welcomed the year with an impressive, once-in-a-lifetime experience while diving in the city of Tohoku, Hyogo Prefecture, Japan, on a cold January day. Local fishing equipment vendors alerted them to the presence of a massive creature lurking in the waters. They decided to dive in hopes of finding the large creature, and surprisingly, they had a close encounter with the elusive being. What the pair found was a giant squid, an 8-meter-long colossus that rarely comes close to humans. A being 8 meters long is incredible, but it is not even the largest of its species. These cephalopods can grow up to 13 meters long, or even more. Generally, these creatures inhabit the depths of the ocean, living at a depth of between 300 to 600 meters, where sunlight barely penetrates, making them an elusive sight. The Tanakas were incredibly lucky to come across one of these majestic animals alive and swimming in shallower waters. But how did this giant squid end up in shallow waters? Unfortunately, the squid was likely near the end of its life when it surfaced. He was probably already in poor health when he decided to venture closer to the surface. Still, the memory of this squid served as an unforgettable encounter for the researchers and the couple. Number 2. What is more fascinating than a giant squid? A huge sack of squid eggs. This floating object looks like an alien bubble, but is actually a squid egg sack, as big as an adult human. On October 6, 2019, Ronald Rasch, a diver on the Norwegian research vessel REV Ocean, captured an egg sack on camera while exploring a World War II shipwreck off the western coast of Norway, about 17 meters deep. This egg sac belongs to the 10-armed southern shortfin squid. These sacs are rare and delicate, making detailed encounters and studies difficult. Each bag can contain between 50,000 and 200,000 baby squid in a gelatinous sphere up to 90 centimeters in diameter. They are made of squid ink and mucus, protecting the developing embryos. Although it protects the embryos, the sac is transparent, allowing you to see the small eggs inside. Southern shortfin squid create these large spherical sacs, but sightings are rare, making this discovery exciting for marine biologists. These egg masses have been reported in the Mediterranean and along the coasts of Spain, France, and Italy, but it's always special to see one up close. If you see a large bubble floating while diving, you could be seeing one of these rare discoveries. Number 3. In 1917, during the height of World War I, the Swedish cargo ship SS Kiros was carrying a valuable cargo of French cognac and Benedictine liqueur, destined for the Russian aristocracy. This luxurious cargo was en route to Tsar Nicholas II when a German submarine intercepted and sank the Kiros in the Baltic Sea. The ship sank to a depth of 77 meters, remaining intact for more than a century thanks to the cold waters that preserved both the ship and its valuable cargo. It was not until 2019 when the ship was rediscovered. The Ocean X team, led by Peter Lindbergh and Dennis Asperg, set out to recover this historic treasure. Despite the depth, the team accomplished the impossible and rescued 900-century-old bottles of liquor, preserved by cold ocean waters since World War I. Each bottle tells a story from a bygone era. The cargo included 50 cases of Dartman and Company brand cognac and 15 cases of Benedictine liquor. Despite their age, the contents of the bottles were probably still drinkable, although few would dare to try it. The recovered bottles were estimated to have a combined value of more than $1 million, although the exact price they fetched at auction was never revealed. Number 4. In 2020, divers were on a routine mission to clean up ghost nets, or abandoned fishing nets, at the bottom of the Baltic Sea. These forgotten nets pose a threat to marine life, so cleaning them is essential. However, divers found something much more interesting: a rusty, algae-covered artifact that looked like an old typewriter. What they found was a rare Enigma machine, a device used by German forces during World War II to encrypt military communications. The Enigma machine was invented by Arthur Scourbius after World War I and quickly adopted by the German military. It had rotor wheels that scrambled letters to create coded messages. To decipher these messages, the receiver needed another Enigma machine configured with the same rotor positions. This complex system allowed German forces to transmit secret information with relative impunity until Allied cryptographers, led by British mathematician Alan Turing, managed to crack the code. This specific Enigma machine found by divers had 3 rotors, suggesting that it was used on a German warship rather than a submarine, which typically carried 4-rotor models. This device was likely thrown overboard in May 1945 when German forces scuttled their ships to prevent them from being captured by the Allies. This find is unique, as only a handful of these machines have survived to this day. After its discovery, the Enigma machine was given to the Schleswig Museum of Archaeology for conservation and study. Number 5. Imagine that your body needs to remind you to breathe while you sleep. Sounds inconvenient, right? Well, that's exactly what whales experience. Sometimes divers come across a group of whales floating in the middle of the ocean with their heads up. This may seem strange, but it is a necessity for them. Unlike humans, whales need to rise to the surface to breathe consciously. This means that they cannot afford to be completely unconscious while they sleep. Instead, they use a special type of sleep known as unihemispheric slow-wave sleep. This allows one hemisphere of the brain to rest while the other remains active. Basically, one side of your brain stays awake to manage breathing and stay alert for potential dangers, while the other side rests. In addition to having a part of their brain active, this strange position allows them to float quickly to the surface, making it easier to take in air while they remain asleep. Whales typically sleep in intervals of about 20 minutes before needing to surface for air again, and this process can continue for several hours at a time. Number 6. The tooth of a megalodon, an apex predator that became extinct more than 3 million years ago, is often visualized as a colossal version of the modern white shark. Although some thrill-seekers fantasize about their continued existence in the unexplored depths of the ocean, this conflicts with scientific understanding of deep-sea life and its adaptations. The megalodon, whose fossilized teeth are its most famous remains, preferred shallow coastal waters, as evidenced by the fossils we have found, typically alongside marine mammals similar to those hunted by modern white sharks. The disappearance of the megalodon has sparked debate, with factors such as changes in ocean temperature, lack of prey, and the emergence of new predators such as the great white shark all playing a role. The mystery surrounding the megalodon increases with discoveries like the 5-inch tooth found by a 9-year-old girl in Maryland on Christmas 2022. Molly Sampson, a fossil enthusiast, made the find on the shores of Calvert Cliff State Park, along the Chesapeake Bay, an area rich in paleontological history. After taking the tooth to Stephen Godfrey, curator of paleontology at the Calvert Marine Museum, she confirmed its origin, cementing the discovery as an important piece in prehistoric history. Number 7. Imagine walking along the beach and stumbling upon something that could change your life. This became a reality for Ken Willman during a casual walk with his dog on Lancashire Beach. What attracted his dog's attention and, at first, repelled Ken because of his foul odor, turned out to be a yellow, waxy lump. Initially dismissing the smelly find, curiosity got the best of him. After returning home, a quick internet search revealed that this nasty lump was none other than whale vomit, also known as ambergris. To Ken's astonishment, he discovered that this substance was not simply a strange find on the beach, but a valuable wildcard prized by perfumeries throughout Europe. Produced in the digestive system of sperm whales, ambergris serves a crucial function. It protects the whale's intestines from the sharp beaks of squid, its main food source. Contrary to popular belief, ambergris is excreted rather than vomited and can float in the ocean for years before washing ashore. Ken's discovery was a pile of this floating gold, estimated to be worth a staggering 180,000. Ambergris is coveted for its ability to lock fragrances into the skin, making perfumes last longer. Number 8. A mysterious marine being has perplexed both locals and scientists on the coasts of Cyprus and Spain. These coasts have seen their share of unusual marine strandings, but this recent discovery has raised eyebrows. On a quiet beach in Spain, a passerby came across a beaked whale, impressive for its 6 meters in length. This was not an isolated incident. It marked the third such revelation that week, sparking alarm and curiosity. Beaked whales are known for their elusive nature and typically appear on beaches only once every 5 years, making this series of events even more puzzling. The Cyprus government is investigating why 7 beaked whales washed up dead on its coast. This is unusual and suggests a larger environmental problem. Beaked whales typically live far from shore, so finding them stranded is worrying. Experts believe that human-caused underwater noise pollution could be confusing these creatures, causing them to surface too quickly and die. Number 9. A rotating cannon was discovered on an ordinary day on Dundee Beach, southwest of Darwin in Australia's Northern Territory. A teenager unearthed this cannon, a type of small cannon that experts believe had been resting under the sea for almost 2.5 centuries. This find is notable not only because of the age of the cannon, but because such weaponry was unknown in Australia before the arrival of Captain James Cook in 1770. The bronze cannon, measuring 107 centimeters in length, was revealed during a particularly low tide, hidden until then under the sand. This discovery has excited scientists and historians, including Tim Stone, an Australian researcher, who considers it one of the most important discoveries in northern Australia. Initially, it was thought that the cannon could be from the 16th century, related to Portuguese sailors. However, recent analysis suggests that it was lost about 250 years ago, possibly during the sandalwood trade. Indonesian traders used to visit Australian shores in search of sea cucumber. Another theory suggests that the cannon could be from an Indonesian ship wrecked in a storm. Research seeks to determine the type of bronze used to cast the cannon and hopes to provide a clearer understanding of its origin and precise age. Number 10. An unusual maritime incident caused quite a spectacle on the English coast in 2017 when huge plastic pipes washed up on the beaches of Norfolk. These were no ordinary tubes. They were enormous, with diameters of up to 8 feet and an incredible length of 1,500 feet. They came from a batch that was being shipped from Norway to Algeria for a large construction project. But this is where the story takes a turn worthy of a maritime adventure. A cargo ship collided with the tubes, setting them adrift across the sea. This accidental launch took the tubes on an unexpected journey, ending up scattered on beaches such as Sea Palling and Winterton. Despite their overwhelming size, local authorities quickly assured the public that the tubes were safe and posed no contamination threat. They became an instant attraction. Even children used them as a huge and unexpected seaside park. The task of recovering these giant sea travelers involved a careful process. Each tube was first gathered off the coast and then transported back to Norway. The operation was successful, without a single problem, ensuring that the tube's journey ended as abruptly as it began and that the Norfolk coast returned to its usual state. Number 11. New Birth. A group of seismologists was on the high seas, making observations when, unexpectedly, they witnessed an extraordinary event: the emergence of a mountain from the depths of the ocean, giving rise to a new island. Do you wonder how something like this could happen? According to experts, this phenomenon is due to underground activities beneath the Earth's crust. It's like witnessing a magic trick of nature, and these researchers were lucky enough to be there in the front row to witness it. It's as rare as finding a pearl in an oyster, but they experienced it firsthand. It is truly a privilege to have that privileged view on the grandiose spectacle of Mother Nature. Number 12. You've probably heard of the legendary Titanic, right? Well, get ready because we're about to dive into another chilling encounter with an iceberg. We just hit one. Imagine this scene: a majestic cruise ship plying through the frigid waters, its passengers enjoying the sea breeze and the serenity of the ocean, completely oblivious to the danger lurking just beneath the surface. Does it sound familiar to you? Yes, it was as if we were living a scene straight out of a thriller movie, where the invisible enemy looms over them without anyone noticing. And that cunning iceberg, like a puppeteer hidden in the shadows, decided to play hide-and-seek with the ship. First, a soft touch, barely perceptible, like a sinister whisper. Then, suddenly, wham! He emerged before everyone's astonished eyes, revealing his imposing presence. I can imagine the shock that must have caused among the passengers, that instant realization that they had narrowly avoided a potentially tragic fate, similar to that of the famous Titanic shipwreck. It is a vivid reminder of the fragility of life in the face of the relentless whims of nature, an experience that will be etched in the memories of all present forever. Number 13. In the jaws of a whale. In one of the books of the Old Testament, it is told how the prophet Jonah was swallowed by a whale and remained in its belly for 3 days and 3 nights. 2 American women, Julie McSorley and Liz Cottrell, had a close encounter with a whale in the San Luis Passage on the Pacific coast. While closely watching humpback whales feeding early in the morning, they got too close to a school of fish, which attracted a whale toward their kayak. In a video captured by a drone, the whale is seen emerging from the water and approaching the women's boat. It looked like they were going to be swallowed, but fortunately they survived. The women mentioned that they tried to walk away quickly, but were unable to avoid the encounter. Rescuers helped them out of the water, and they were not injured. This experience certainly provided them with an exciting story to tell in the future. Number 14. Invasion of sea lions. In 2018, a few tourists were enjoying the waves, enjoying the salty breeze, when they found themselves in the middle of an impressive spectacle starring sea lions. But that was not all. The images captured revealed something even more extraordinary, as the humpback whales decided to join the marine festivity. Dozens of whales mingled with groups of sea lions to enjoy a feast of anchovies. According to the tour guide, witnessing this kind of frenetic feeding activity was quite unusual, and the excitement it generated was truly wild. For the tourists and for us, it was an experience that remained etched in memory. Who would have imagined that the ocean could offer such a magnificent and diverse spectacle? It is a reminder of the amazing diversity and unmatched beauty of marine life. Number 15. Birth of whales. A group of fishermen were in the waters of Cape Town, immersed in the quiet routine of fishing, when they suddenly witnessed a natural spectacle like no other. Hundreds of dolphins danced and played in the water, capturing their attention and sowing intrigue among them. But what they discovered next was even more surprising. A majestic whale was giving birth right at that moment, in front of their very eyes. They soon realized that the dolphins were not simply there for show. they were carrying out an act of solidarity. With their playful movements, they were creating a protective circle around the whale and her calf, making sure to keep potential predators away and ensuring the safety and well-being of the new marine family. These moments remind us of the amazing interconnectedness of life in the ocean and how, even amid the vastness and unpredictability of the sea, nature finds surprising ways to cooperate and protect each other. It is a poignant reminder of the beauty and harmony that exists in the natural world.